It's over. All right, bros. Guess what? So it's completely confirmed. The black pill is completely wrong, and it's verified. I met an autistic, disabled person that slays, and so from here on out, the BP is complete garbage and it's all fake. And yeah, it doesn't actually, it's not real because, if a disabled autistic person can slay girls, then so can anyone else. So you just, you got a personality max, bro. You got a wage cuck max. You got a, you got a max and everything else. So in the video, I'm going to go into more details about it, and then his strategy that he used to get girls, and you know, I don't know. I'm just kind of mind blown that I met this person, or read about this story, and kind of got to understand how he's able to do it. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. Um, you know, basically, I mean, obviously he's like a complete outlier. So like most people that even have, oh man, had to sneeze there, but most guys that have a little bit of like autism or Asperger's, I mean, it's pretty much over for them. You can't really social circle max like that. I've seen like a few guys with like really autistic girlfriends, and I mean, that's kind of the only exception. That's the only time you see it actually, them actually having anything. But this guy was autistic in the literal sense. He wasn't like one of these cringe guys who's like, oh, I have ADHD and I'm depressed. And it's like, I'm a mental cell because I have anxiety. It's like, no, that's not what this guy was. Like, he was a voice cell. So he sounded autistic with like that kind of off-putting, high-pitched sounding voice. And then he had literal Asperger's, so he quite literally couldn't comprehend like human social interactions and situations like an MT person could. So he already had that, and then on top of that, he said the entire left side of his body was disabled, so he couldn't feel anything on his left arm or whatever. Like he said that when he's out on dates with girls, none of them ever bring it up because they don't want to be like intrusive. They don't want to be rude to someone with like a disability or whatever. And it sounds like he doesn't bring it up, prior to meeting. It sounds like he kind of just lets it go, because he probably wouldn't get any dates if he brought it up, right, over text or something. Like, I don't think a girl, they would probably just ghost him, like, oh, you're disabled, get ghosted, right? So I think his strategy is that he doesn't mention it, and then when they show up, he has a disabled left side, so he wears like a brace on his leg, and only one of his arms works. And yeah, I mean, it might be the case that some girls don't even notice. I'm not sure, but I'm sure a lot of them do. And then, like I said, on top of that, he has Asperger's. But with all of that, he's still able to slay. So it's like, okay, if that's the case, then like, what am I doing wrong? Like, if this guy can get girls, go on dates, and sleep with them, like, theoretically, like, couldn't any guy kind of do that too, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know what he looked like. He sounded white. I don't know how tall he was. I don't know really, anything else as far as his aesthetics. So it's kind of mind-boggling. Like, with that being said, and all that. But yeah, so then he told me about his strategy and all that, and how to like actually land them and get dates from this guy, and he said he had a double-digit body count, which is crazy. Um, yeah, so his Instagram. Oh, that's right. So he got girls off Instagram, believe it or not. Now, I mean, you always hear about this, like getting girls off Instagram, like Fresh and Fit or something like that. It's like, oh, we're flying, giving girls flights out or whatever they talk about, right? And oh, girls always getting flown out. This guy had two separate strategies. So one strategy was basically essentially taking a picture at a local area, like for example, like a coffee shop or a gym, taking a selfie or a picture there, showing that you were there, and posting it, and I guess tagging the location, and then I guess on Instagram, I don't use it, but apparently, like, you can go into the tag for the location, I think, and you can see other people that also tag that location. And so that means you can see other local girls that were also at that same place as you, whether you're at your hometown town or if you're traveling. And so what he then would do is spam the girls. So he would like a bunch of the girls' photos. I don't know if he would. I don't think he would like spam like the whole profile. I mean, like he would spam likes to a bunch of girls, like probably 1 to 2 likes, maybe 1 to 5 likes per girl on their photos, and then basically he would wait that out, give it like a day or something, and see which girls like you back or like a photo on your profile back. And then what you do is, I guess, like them back again maybe, and see if they like you back a second time, I think, and then send them a DM and be like, oh, I went to this coffee shop. That's crazy. You were there too? Wow, that's so cool. And it's kind of like a social proof aspect. Like they didn't know that you went into the location of that coffee shop and like found them or whatever. They probably can't remember that they made that, they tagged that location, right? I'm sure they do a bunch of tags, don't really think about it. People liking their profile all the time, so they're probably not thinking about it. But like obviously for you on the man's side, it was like deliberate. And so you just kind of strike up the conversation from there. And he said that he has less than 1,000 followers, and it sounded like he just posted like regular photos just to show that he was like a human, not like super PSL max, filter max photos or anything like super high res or whatever, just normal photos. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't use Instagram, but I guess I might have to download it. I guess I might have to get on it. I guess that might be a better avenue of getting girls than dating apps, which is crazy. But it sounded like maybe he had difficulty with a long-term relationship because of his disabilities. Like girls didn't want to stay around to have to deal with that, which, that kind of makes sense. But I mean, he still had a really high body count for like what it's worth, being like with everything against him, he's doing exceptionally well. So it's just kind of mind-boggling. But that was the first strategy. He also had a second strategy, and the second strategy was more so to, if you wanted to DM an Instagram girl that had like a larger following, like let's say like 100,000 followers, something like that. He said the strategy is a little bit different, but here's how this one would work. Basically, go into her list of follows, like the people that she follows, and find the men that have a follower count that's low. Let's say, for example, like less than 1,000. So find other guys that she's following that have a low follower count, and go follow them and wait for them to follow you back. And when they follow you back, now she sees that you have a mutual follower with the guy that she follows, and like theoretically that could be like some guy that they went to high school with or college with. So like that's really strong social proof, like, oh, this guy DM me, and we have these mutual followers. Like, how does he know these 5 guys that I follow? You know what I mean? And yeah, so I don't know how viable that is, and obviously like there's really no point. Like what is the point to hit up a girl on Instagram that has a high a high follower count. I think that's like a bad idea, probably, you know, to be quite honest. Like, there's going to be like exponentially more competition and exponentially higher expectations for you as a man. You're going to have to probably have more money, more influence, more status, more followers, things like that. So it's probably not even a good idea to do that. I think the first strategy is probably more viable and a better strategy to like try to get girls, try to get a date, try to game women. And potentially it might be a good avenue for like, if you're not nearly as attractive. Now, I haven't tried it. It's not like I'm not getting dates. But I don't know. There's still more things that I, you know, have in the toolbox left to try before, you know, I fully give up and just neat max and just call it a day and all that. So I'm not there yet. So things like these, they do kind of interest me just because like I am trying to kind of try everything that I can to ascend. I think that's important. I mean, I know, you know, there's a lot of guys that have given up and like, it is what it is. I'm just not there yet. But I will say that like the amount of stuff that I've done so far with like, you know, what I've got in return, it's pretty crazy. It seems a little bit insurmountable at this point. I've done so much for years and have really not gotten really anything. So it is very demoralizing, but I still want to keep trying, putting in that work, bro. You know what I mean? Putting in that work, hustling daily, hustle hard, shoot for your dreams. You know, we stay hungry, we devour, we take what's ours. Yeah, so I might try this out and report back. I don't have an Instagram profile though, so I'll have to make one and go from there. I probably won't do it for like a few months though, just because I have other things going on and I'm doing a different strategy right now. So I'm just not ready to spend that much time on Instagram right now. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, food for thought. It's an idea that I had never heard of. So if you haven't fully given up and you want to give it a try, maybe you already have an Instagram profile, give it a try. You know, give it a week, couple weeks or something. Maybe leave me a comment. Let me know how it worked out for you. You know, maybe you got no likes back. Maybe you got some likes and 0 answered DMs. Maybe you got some likes and your DMs got answered and no dates, and maybe you got some dates. So yeah, I mean, if you end up trying this out, let me know. Because it sounds potentially valid as a potentially valid solution. Because I feel like every girl nowadays has an Instagram, and they always talk about the percentage rates of male to female ratio on dating apps being skewed male, right? Like 80% of all Tinder users are male. Well, what's the skew on Instagram? I feel like on Instagram, it's probably skewed towards women. I feel like maybe 60% of Instagram users are women, for example. Just a random number. I don't have that statistic. I would have to look it up. But I think that the skewed ratio is more skewed towards women. And what that tells me is that statistically, you should have a better chance at being able to, you know, at least get a response, right? After that is kind of, you know, there's so many other factors that lead in right after getting the response, but I think that you probably have a higher chance of getting a response on Instagram using a method like this versus using a dating app. Especially if you like get 0 matches on a dating app, then this probably will maybe get you like at least a DM response. I mean, as far as what you do after that, like, don't ask me, bro. I'm not like a PUA, you know what I mean? But I think I'm still going to try this out, see what happens. But I'm not going to do it for a few months. So if you end up doing it, post a comment or something like that, because I'm kind of curious to see if other people find success doing this. But obviously, as far as like the, you know, black pill being, you know, debunked, obviously that's not true, and it's all a catchy headline, you know, BS. So It is what it is.